Well, folks, what happened here? I'm just kind of stunned, really. It's been a wacky week. So this week, I played in Baltimore again. I wanted to wrap up the Baltimore 5. So I played the last public golf course in the Baltimore Fabulous 5, which is Clifton Park. And my, oh my, what an experience. Now, this course is certainly in the far edge. It's really not quite in the hood. It's almost in the hood. It's pretty close, but it's close enough where you walk into the clubhouse and you walk up to register for your round and you pay for your round, and there's a sign right there next to the register. Okay, believe me, there is a sign next to the register that says, we have had incidents of local kids driving off with golf carts. Okay, we have had incidents of local kids driving away with golf carts on the course. Please take your key with you when you leave your cart and go to the green or in search of your ball. We have been cooperating with the Baltimore City Police. If you have any trouble with kids approaching you in your cart, call the police and drive away from the scene. Okay? I may not have it exactly, but I'm pretty close. The point is, let me tell you, I said I'm not going out to play golf on this course in the middle of Baltimore, not just, downtown Baltimore, but downtown Northeast Baltimore, by myself late at night after 3 o'clock, out there in the middle of nowhere as it gets dark. So I joined a foursome. I made a foursome with the group ahead of me that was playing 3, and I essentially chickened out as far as playing by myself. Normally I would play by myself or play 2, and I said, screw it, I'm playing 4. And we played the white tees, which answered another question that I wanted to answer, which was, what would I score if I played from the white tees on a short course, this is a slope 115 course from the back tees, the black tees. We played from the white tees, which were somewhere between 20 to 40 yards up from the black tees. There's no question that this course has a somewhat significant difference in terms of length from white to black in terms of length, in terms of slope. But it isn't a huge difference, and it is hard enough, even from the white tees, to be interesting, and the black tees will make it a little bit harder so that you have to, maybe use another club or 2 possibly on your approach shots. But nothing on this course is really that long, let's say from the white tees. I don't think it would be really long from the black tees either. But the course is still twisted and convoluted and has enough hazards and stuff. Some of the fairways are bordered by trees on both sides, and some of the fairways are bordered by trees on one side and a road on the other side, and some of the fairways are bordered by roads on both sides. And I'm not kidding. They're literally bordered by roads. Okay. In some cases, there's a short run of rough, long rough even, and you're a little bit below the road, and there's maybe 15 yards of rough between, real rough, but really long rough between the short rough and the road. And in some cases, it literally goes to the road, and you will see out of bounds stakes on the border of the road. Okay. You want to talk about road noise. There's no question that this course has road noise. It is bordered by the road, a major road that runs, like a 2-lane in both directions road that runs by I think it's Hopkins Avenue, which is where you turn off to come to the course. And that runs by the first fairway. It runs by the first green, the second tee box, and so forth. It runs on up to the course to the north. And then there's part of the course, and it's a nice spread. I mean, it's a significantly large spread of a course where there's another, like a shopping mall off on the side of the course, and there's a road that goes by that. And then there are roads that cut through the course, which are like local roads. and then the traffic whizzes through those, down those roads and stuff at like 30, 40, 50 miles an hour sometimes. And sure enough, yeah, we were, hitting on a green or whatever, and some guy on a scooter rides by and beep, 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 beep. Now, normally, I gotta tell you, normally I would suspect that was something, done to distract a player on the course. In this case, I think it's just normal road traffic. The guy was honking at somebody probably ahead of him, wasn't even thinking about anybody on the course, and just happened to honk his horn. The course is a nice course. It actually is a decent course. It has a fair amount of verticality. It has some tricky shots off the tee, some tricky approach shots, some picturesque scenes on the course, and everything that goes with that. The only problem is, number one, there's really a lot of road noise, okay? And second, a lot of the fact that you're in the hood, okay? It's that simple. We were harassed by a group of kids on one hole on the back. We playing out, and they're like, oh, this guy thinks he's Tiger Woods. Woo, I hit a great shot. You hear him yelling off, and not in the distance, but just on the other side of the fence. We were finishing up the round, and some guy decided to shoot somebody or shoot at somebody, and we hear this gun, bam, 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 bam. And then some yelling and screaming going on. I don't know if someone actually got shot or not, but definitely some angry yelling. And then the chopper, there's this omnipresent chopper flying around the area anyway. Then he comes roaring back and flies low, and they're, it's like they're looking for an active shooter. Luckily that was the 18th. We're on 18th green when that happened, but let's put it this way: it was getting dark, and the guys I was with just literally made a beeline for their cars and left the course. I actually stung her. I had to get something to drink, and it was hot and all. I just wasn't in the mood to hop in my car and race out of there. But in any case, racing out of the heart of Baltimore is not something that you can actually do, especially when there's a Ravens game or a Orioles game, and you're trying to hit 95 South out of Baltimore. I ended up having to hit 40. Literally, I got to the top of Martin Luther King Boulevard on, I guess it's whatever the road is that heads down towards the stadium, on 83, when 83 dumps out, whatever that road is, the main road where Martin Luther King comes down, and then you go back. If you go back south, it goes past the stadium and so forth, the Ravens Stadium. I ended up getting stuck there. Literally, no traffic moving anywhere, and had to ditch off and take 40 west all the way to 695. And I swear to God, it took me an hour to get to 32 from downtown Baltimore. It wasn't easy to get to this place because if you know anything about Baltimore, basically it's like you have to go out North Avenue, and then you go up Hartford Road, and it's that big park that you see in the middle of Baltimore that goes all the way up from like Route 40 east on the far side of St. Charles Street, and it goes all the way up like a mile or two, goes up to Cool Spring Road or whatever it is, and that's way up there. I mean, that's like way up there in northern Baltimore. It's that park. The golf course is sort of in the middle of that park, and the golf course is not like I said, it's not a small course. It's a significantly sized course, and it just rambles over all this territory and all this space. I think it would have been a good course, a nice course to play, if it wasn't that you had to worry about getting mugged on the course by a group of local kids. If it wasn't like you didn't have to worry, the guy was telling me, I was out playing my shot one day on a par 3, and I hit my ball on the green. Some guy walked up to the green and took my ball off the green, looked back and said, oh, you weren't going to make the putt anyway, just took the ball and walked off the green, went back down the street. If you didn't have to worry about stuff like that, fine. I could say it was a decent course, but you do have to worry about stuff like that, and it's just too much. It's bad enough to kind of have to worry about that kind of insanity happening on a lot of courses. You definitely don't want to have to worry about it on a real course, okay? Then the clubhouse is kind of old and kind of decrepit and so forth. And there's usually too many people. At least when I went through there like 3 times, there were too many people running around. and it was just too slow and too much time to get something to drink and too much to eat. This one guy who's working there is overwhelmed, and it was just too much talking and not enough serving. So I ended up not getting anything until I got there at the very end. I was desperate for something to drink. Luckily, they had buckets of cold water, ice cold water out on the course, and that was good. And then the guy's telling me one story. I said they had to move the buckets away from the shopping mall because people would come over to the buckets and put stuff in the water buckets. That's just great. All right, fine. So, yeah, I mean, a nice course. I have to give the course in and of itself a decent grade. It's not like a great course, but it's all right. I would say C plus B minus, something like that. It's a nice enough course, even though it's short, not bad. But in that environment, no, I couldn't ever see myself wanting to go back there and play golf again. I mean, at the very least, I'd go to Mount Pleasant. Mount Pleasant is maybe 2 miles north on Route 41. I would still happily go up there to play rather than go back and play at Clifton Park. It's just too much of a hood rat place. Okay, just too much. And so for that reason, I literally have to give the course a C minus. I don't want to dive it with a D. I mean, it's not that bad that I would say don't go there. Okay, but if you go there, it's like going to play basketball in any inner city court. You want to go play basketball in Brooklyn? Be my guest. If you want to go to Washington Street and pick up a basketball and start playing there, be my guest. You want to go walking through a park, down in Southeast DC or something, be my guest. If that's what you want to do your thing. The guys I played with said they play there like four times a year, and they play a lot of the other courses, but they play down at Clifton Park 4 times a year. I'm like, okay, I guess, if that's what you want to do, fine. If you work right there and you don't want to go somewhere further, fine. The problem is there are a lot of good courses just north of there. Even dealing with the traffic, you still could go up to Mount Pleasant, or you could go southeast down to Rocky Point, or you could go to Timonium and play Forest Greens or whatever it is out there. I think it's Forest Greens. Or the you could go west. Now this might be a little bit of a trick. You go west and go out to Diamond Ridge or the other court, Woodlands. Now that's probably a little bit tricky because that's going to be at least an hour drive from where I was, even if in good traffic. But there's still other courses in the area. I mean, you have to be walking with your clubs for that course to make sense, in my opinion. I could not see ever consciously choosing to play that course again, except to, show someone what it's like for real, to go there and see it for real. Okay. It's just that scary. Okay. Not that the course is scary, not that the course itself is bad, but the constant threat of hoodlum activity right while you're trying to play golf. Not to mention the cars whizzing through the course, the chance that someone's going to hit a car in play. We have one guy on our side, one guy in our foursome actually hit a ball over the road or through the road, a couple times. I was waiting for someone to stop their car and come out, what the hell are you doing? Hit my car with that damn golf ball. I was waiting for that to happen. It was just how bad could this get? But luckily we got out of there without any problems. But after the gunfire, it was over. So I will leave it there. Clifton Park, a decent course. I think I shot like a 94 on it. And end of story. I didn't save the scorecard. Just looked at it. And I didn't take any shots. Not going to take any shots. I'll put some shots in from the course. A decent enough course, except that you're playing literally in the hood. Okay. So I have to give it a C minus overall, but the course is halfway decent. It's not a bad course. Certainly something to go out and hit, your balls, and it's decent enough course for that. I would give it a C plus B minus, somewhere in that range, as a golf course, but the overall environment is just a little bit too sketchy. Okay, C minus, Clifton Park, Baltimore, and so it goes.